A federal high court in Abuja has restrained the CBN from further releasing financial allocations to the Rivers State government pending a lawful appropriation act is passed by a validly constituted House of Assembly. Now, the recently issued order in a judgment on a suit filed by the Rivers State House of Assembly led by Martins Amaewhule. Now, Justice Abdulmalik held that the decision by Governor Siminalayi Fubara to present the Rivers State 2024 Appropriation Bill to a four-member assembly was not properly constituted and should not be allowed to stand. However, this decision is likely to spark discussions and reactions from stakeholders as there are fears that it might have significant implications, particularly for the state's finances and governance. Well, joining me on the program this evening to discuss this is Samuel Nwanosike, is a former chairman of Ikwere local government. He joins virtually from Rivers State. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity you've given to me to be part of your program.
All right.
And I need to make some, if you will allow me, make a little correction. I am not joining you from Rivers State. I just arrived in Nigeria right now. I'm right here in Lagos. In fact, I'm still within the airport premises. I had to appeal to someone to allow me use his little office so that I can be part of this program.
All right, it's great
and to also say that as media handlers, and you people are considered those who are monitoring the democratic trends of our nation. I hate going back and forth with what nomenclature you have chosen to address me with. But as long as we are concerned, the laws of our land is sacrosanct. And I'm still the executive chairman of the Ikwere local government until the Martins Amaewhule led assembly says otherwise. That is who I am.
All right, thank you for the update. But let's get to the issue at hand. This development came to Nigerians and, of course, has been gathering a bit of steam. Some have even likened this to what happened in Lagos State during the time of President Olusegun Obasanjo. And coincidentally, the current president of Nigeria was the governor of Lagos State then. But I would like your immediate reaction to this judgment first, before we get into details.
This is a sound judgment in agreement with the laws of Nigeria. And I want to say this is the only way democracy can be entrenched. This is the only way international community can have confidence in democratic dealings in this nation. There is no how we can build Nigeria out alone as Nigerians. We don't have all the technology. We don't have all the resources. So we need to encourage external participation. And the only way they can have the confidence to be part of the dealings of businesses and the day-to-day activities of our economy is when they see that we have high level of tolerance in obeying the laws of our land. So I want to commend my Lord, who has been consistent with the Constitution and in agreement with other court rulings, starting from Justice.
Hello, Mr. Nwanosike, are you there? Mr. Nwanosike, are you there? All right, while we are trying to, of course, connect with Mr. Nwanosike, just to bring you up to speed, just recently in Rivers State, a federal high court in Abuja restrained the Central Bank of Nigeria, from further releasing financial allocations to the Rivers State government pending a lawful appropriation act is passed by validly constituted House of Assembly. Now, just a bit of backstory. Now, the State House of Assembly there, just some months back, there was a bit of fracas where, of course, we saw a situation where the budget of the state was passed by a four-member panel. Given the political, I call it tension in the state, where about 26 members allegedly defected, even though on this program we have had where some of them said they did not defect, allegedly defected, from the party, that's the People's Democratic Party, to the APC. And of course, it was said that by that action alone, automatically their seats were vacant. But they contested this, and there's been a lot of legal crossfire on this matter. And right now, a recent ruling actually said they should be reinstated and they should go back, which of course is also being contested by the state government. But I think we have him back. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Wanosike. We lost you for a moment.
Once in a while, we'll have you preaching. I'm very sorry.
Okay. I would like you to pick up, sir.
Okay, like I was saying, the judgment by our Lord is very consistent with the law of Nigeria, and it's in agreement with the other rulings given by other courts, starting from Justice Abdulmalik's judgment of 24th of January 2024, and to the Court of Appeal judgment that happened in Port Harcourt, and also the Court of Appeal judgment that happened again in Abuja. What it has been said clearly, you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. The laws of Nigeria is clear that Section 272 has stated clearly who has the jurisdiction to decide whether a member of the State House of Assembly, deputy governor or governor had lost their seats. Having said so, if you allow me to spend a few minutes to chronicle the movement that occurred in the Universal House of Assembly from the 30th day of October 2023.
Okay, I believe you are referring, I'm sorry to interrupt you, I believe you are referring to the defection that happened in the State House, right? No,
I'm not.
Okay, please go ahead.
That's why I said I need to give you the chronicle so that Nigerians will be abreast.
Okay, let's hear you, sir.
Because on the 30th of October 2023, the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, on his own invoked the crisis that has made governance very difficult to happen under his watch by his making a move to impeach the Speaker of Rivers House of Assembly, Right Honorable Martins Amaewhule, who was inaugurated by his proclamation as soon as he was sworn in as the governor of Rivers State. And since after that inauguration of the House, we had the peaceful House. We had the Rivers State that was moving towards the right direction. It was under that House that supplementary budgets were passed that gave the governor an opportunity to flag off and continue construction of the biggest project any state government has been involved in Rivers State, done by Julius Berger, the 55.5 kilometer internal roads, flyovers, and bridges. Now, when the governor made that move, because there's a young man in that assembly that was telling the governor stories, who was the leader of the House, Honorable Lady Snehiye, that he has the capacity to get his colleagues to elect him as Speaker. And because the governor had his own programs, he was drawing behind the family that came together to elect him the governor of Rivers State. And when that program failed, what did they do? They resulted into burning the House of Assembly. And because the governor was an interested party in that action, he quickly went and pulled down the assembly that was burned by his supporters because he doesn't want any traces of investigation. And I said, if there's anything to go by, setting up a panel of inquiry, judicial panel of inquiry, it should have started from the burning down of Rivers State House of Assembly, which is the legislative arm and the main voice of democracy. You know, the legislator is the voice of the people. But we didn't see our governor do that, which means, quote unquote, he has high level of benefit by the burning down of the Rivers House Assembly as he then was. Now, what did the assembly members do as soon as their chambers were burned? They made it clear that the chamber is not the only place they can sit within the assembly premises. And they went ahead to do their next sitting the next morning, where Edison Ehie and 3 others who participated in that action were suspended and referred to a disciplinary committee. And they were impeached. Edison was impeached as the leader of the House, and the 3 other members, alongside with Edison, suspended from house activities and business. And as far as we are concerned, Edison and his 3 other colleagues have not approached any court of complaint division to remove the seal on their head. If that happens in any legislative system, the first thing you do is to go to court to seek redress. But what did we see? The next day, as if we are doing a student union government or as if we are living in a banana republic, Edison comes on media and says, I am now the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. And the question is, the Supreme Court has said, for you to conduct such an activity, you must have 2/3 majority sitting in the House. For you to elect a new Speaker, for you to also pass appropriation, you must have 2/3. It is there enshrined in the Constitution of Nigeria. But all of a sudden, a man came up and said he's the Speaker. As if that was not enough. The governor and his co-travelers went to a court in the River State led by Justice Abdulmalik, and got an interim injunction that Edison should be allowed to function as Speaker. But it became funny when NJC invited Justice Abdulmalik, and Justice Abdulmalik told NJC that Edison deceived him and presented lies to him. And that because of that, he has...
But let's fast forward a bit.
To withdraw his suit, excuse me, sir, let me finish.
Okay.
To withdraw his suit with a cost of fine. And Edison did so. And that was what Justice Abdulmalik presented before NJC that allowed him free. And Justice Abdulmalik washed his hands off such matter. So when people go about and saying Edison was Speaker of the Rivers State Assembly, the question is, at what point?
Okay.
When?
We'll pick up from there. We'll pick up from there. We need to go on a quick commercial break because I know that there are knotty issues around that, particularly the issue of some of those leaders or the members of the House that defected, even though many are saying they never did. We'll come back to that too. But let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. This is still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guest with me. Mr. Samuel Wanosike is the chairman for Ikwere local government, and of course is joining virtually from Lagos State. Thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right. You tried to sort of give a background to this issue on ground, but one area of, well, I call it concern or not or worry is the fact that some members of the House did defect, and according to some legal practitioners, some legal pundits, they say once you defect like that, automatically your seat becomes vacant, even though we know that a court injunction came reinstating these individuals. I'd like you to speak on the status of these individuals that defected as it affects this issue.
First of all, for the world to know, there are rules for a man to leave his political party and join another political party. Like, even at the National Assembly, a few hours ago and a few days ago, some members of the National Assembly moved from a political party to another political party, and they didn't automatically lose their seat, and nobody had lost their seat. May his soul rest in peace. The late Senator Ifeanyi left YPP to join the APC, and nobody left the seat because the Constitution says clearly that you cannot action Section 109 without going through all sections of Section 109. Section 109 is clear that a presiding officer must be the one to do the declaration of the seat vacant. The question is, was there any presiding officer that have done so? The answer is no. I have just told you that Justice Abdulmalik has told NJC that Edison liked him, and that he now realized that no such thing. Edison was fine. He paid his fine before he resigned formally from the Rivers State Assembly to take up appointment as the Speaker, as the take up appointment as the Chief of Staff to the Governor. So if you say a man has defected, there's only one thing you should do. You will approach the court of law so that Section 272 will kick in, and the court will decide whether the man actually has defected based on the facts before the court.
So are you saying the issue of defection now is determined by the court of law. I mean, we saw these individuals, we saw them wave flags, a letter was read. Even yesterday on the program, we had the spokesperson for the All Progressives Congress in the state, sort of outline from a legal standpoint the conditions for defection and said these conditions were met. So, I mean, why should the court determine this?
Let me tell you, in a constitutional democracy, there is no way you can resort to self-help. Even you, that is the...
So these individuals, are you suggesting, sir, that these individuals resorted to self-help with all the activities Nigerians saw?
No. You said the so-called spokesperson of APC was in your studio, and he made allegations, and he said things. The question I'm saying is that he was just playing to the gallery. All he needed to do, if he was an interested party, was to approach a court and say, based on the actions I have seen, based on the fact that this young man has waved flags, have made this statement, I want to say that the court should state clearly that they have left their political party without me. They have joined another political party. Thereby, as the speaker has said, their seats are declared vacant. Anybody should show us which court or competent jurisdiction have said so. And again, you cannot say a man has left his political party when the chairman of his political party in the state, his ward chairman, his AJ chairman, are saying he is a registered member of our party. And APC at the ward level, at the AJ level, and at the state level said they are not members of our political party yet. We are just luring them to come and join our party. You see, the problem is that people are always in a hurry to get things done for them in democracy without following the due stipulated laid-down procedure. There are procedures to achieve everything you want to achieve according to democratic tenets. So as far as we are concerned, there is no defection. Martins Amaewhule and his 26 other lawmakers are members of the University Assembly as has been declared by Justice Abdulmalik in judgment, has also been upheld by the Court of Appeal sitting in Port Harcourt, and also been upheld the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja, and has also been confirmed by the recent judgment from the Federal High Court in Abuja. It's clear. In fact, let me even give you an insight. When the governor himself, outside of Topito de la former governor, approached Mr. President to come and mediate between the FCT minister and himself. And when we met with Mr. President, because luckily enough, I am an interested party in this matter, Mr. President invited me and my colleagues to be part of that meeting at the villa. Mr. President said clearly his 8-point agenda, which Dr. Peter read out to the hearing of the Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, and every other person in that hall, to say, these are the 8-point agenda. Point agenda number 1, there should be no impeachment, because he does not want any impeachment to disorganize the political activities in the state. He said, Mr. Governor, you have destroyed the democratic tenets of Nigeria. How dare you take appropriation to 4 members when you have 27 members?
But the governor has said that agreement was used by his opposition to sort of sabotage him. He felt he was shortchanged, through that agreement.
It's not correct, sir. In fact, it's even the governor that took advantage of that agreement. Don't forget that the governor had an impeachment notice that was already counting, that has counted over 2 weeks reading on his head, and he knows the consequences of it. You understand the point I'm making, that Mr. President actually saved his job by giving him that window. But what did the governor do? The governor came back to the state and engineered his people to go to court against Mr. President. They came out on national television, called Mr. President all manner of names, even threatened him. One particular incident was the one spoken by the illegal chairman of Abuja local government today, Chijoke, who came on Channels television to even apologize to Mr. President after the abuses he has drained on Mr. President, because Mr. President just intervened to save the job of Siminalayi Fubara. If there's anybody that took advantage of that meeting and that 8-point agenda, it's Siminalayi Fubara. And I can say clearly, he knows that he's just playing a victim, while meanwhile he is the main culprit of all the incident that is going on in this crisis. In the morning, he will come out to the people and say, oh, I'm innocent. in the afternoon, he will be witch-hunting people politically, and which I am a victim of. As I speak to you, there is nothing he has not done to cow me to join the shenanigans that he's doing in Rivers State. And I have said no. With my training as a student union leader and reading the Constitution of Nigeria properly, and I have said clearly, I will not be part of this illegality.
Can you give specific instances? You said the governor has sort of tried to cow you into doing certain things you're not comfortable with. Can you be more specific, with scenarios?
Yes. Remember the issue of the governor sealing my hotel investment I did in Port Harcourt, which, by the way, have discouraged a lot of investors from coming to do business in Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt is now a shadow of itself. The governor came and said, I have defaulted in the building plan approval given to me by urban and regional planning. And I said, I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty of it because it's already a matter in court, because we're in court on this issue, which his parties are, his lawyers are also part of those who have come to make presentation in court. And I told the entire world that the laws of Rivers State, the urban laws of Rivers State, are signed by Rotimi Amechi and has not been amended by the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, state clearly. If there is such action that you say somebody has contravened, if it's a commercial building, the person has to pay the sum of 2 million naira. If it's a residential building, if it's a residential building, you pay the sum of 2 million naira. If it's a commercial building, you pay the sum of 500,000. But what did the governor do? The governor asked his commissioner to write me a letter which I have forwarded to your studio, that I should pay the sum of 555 million for contravention.
All right.
And that is why I went to Federal High Court to say I've been victimized because I hold a different political opinion against the governor.
Okay, because we are really pressed for time.
Hold on, sir.
Okay.
Sir. It has also shown itself recently that even while I was out of Nigeria, I was out there in Boston, in Harvard, doing my academic program. I left Nigeria on the 27th of September. My stamp is on my passport, which I forwarded to your studio, all those documents and evidences. The governor still came before Channels Television and said that I was the one behind the crisis. I was the one carrying out the crisis in Ikwerre Local Government Council after he went and conducted an illegal election, which the law has said he should not conduct. And he set up a panel of inquiry. Even while I'm still there in Harvard, I can just return now, just now. Immigration just stamped me in now. The governor's panel of inquiry read out my name on news and said that I am being invited to come and appear before them. And the question is, why will you involve a man who you know that is not around? That shows clearly that the entire list is a witch hunt and it's a fraud to democratic practice. Because the governor has showed clearly that he has no respect to law, he has no respect to due process. He just believes that because he has immunity, that we live in a country where, as long as he has immunity, that everything should go his way.
Okay, before I let you go, because I understand that we are pressed for time on this first half, will you appear before the panel, set up, the panel of inquiry, in 30 seconds, the panel of inquiry?
How would I have appeared in the panel that the invitation they gave to me, they said they have concluded their hearing as at today. Today is February 1st, and today is November 1st. The invitation they gave while I was in Boston said I should be there day before yesterday and today. And I'm just arriving now in Lagos. So what magic am I going to do to be before them? And as far as I'm concerned, why will you involve the names of those who you believe are political opponents just because you want to score cheap political goals? It has just made a rubbish of the entire process. And the question Nigerians are asking, why are you not setting up panel of inquiry in this? Why did you stop panel of inquiry when the Rivers State House of Assembly was born?
All right.
Is it because you know those who burnt the Rivers State House of Assembly and they are your cohorts? That's why you don't want to set up the panel of inquiry to investigate that activity?
Mr. Amaewhule, I'm afraid we really need to go, but I'm sure we will definitely revisit this conversation. Again, thank you so much for your time on the program.
Will you allow me a parting word, sir, please?
Okay, 30 seconds.
If you allow me a parting word.
30 seconds.
We want to beg the governor of Rivers State to allow peace to reign in Rivers State. There is nothing too difficult for a man to do to serve his people. If you truly want to be a public servant, you must obey the rule of law. The courts have said, go and represent the budget before the Martins Amaewhule led assembly so that you can get access to pending reverse fund. From the 30th day of June, the governor had no budget to run Rivers State, and every action he has taken are all impeachable offenses and actions.
All right, thank you so much for your time on the program, Mr. Samuel Nwanosike. Once again, thank you.